Hey, welcome back to Visions Now Supper Club. All views expressed for their educational and journalistic purposes, they're not the views of the management, advertisers, and staff of 92.1 FM. However, Visions does desire to bring a quality entertainment program which intellectually stimulates and culturally fulfills our community's needs to develop leadership and inform decision making for our collective future. Welcome to the village, often imitated, but never duplicated. I'm Dr. Jaylene Hood, your host and executive producer. Welcome.
Means to attain its goals. The question I have is, how true is this, and why do you think it persists in society?
Well, the Muslims who have accepted the religion of Islam and follow the religious guidance of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad have never bombed any churches, have never murdered any little girls, as was done in Birmingham, have never lynched anybody, have never at any time been guilty of initiating any aggressive acts of violence during the entire 33 years or more that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad has been teaching us. The charge of violence against us actually stems from the guilt complex that exists in the conscious and subconscious minds of most white people in this country. They know that they've been violent in their brutality against Negroes, and they feel that someday the Negro is going to wake up and try and do unto them as they have do unto the whites as the whites have done unto us. We aren't a violent group. We are taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad to obey the law, to respect everyone who respects us. We're taught to display courtesy, to be polite. But we're also taught that at any time, anyone in any way inflicts or seeks to inflict violence upon us, we are within our religious rights to retaliate in self-defense to the maximum degree of our ability. We never initiate any violence upon anyone, but if anyone attacks us, we reserve the right to defend ourselves. So to accuse us of being violent is like accusing a man who is being lynched, who is being hung on a tree, simply because he struggles vigorously against his lyncher. The victim is accused of violence, but the lyncher is never accused of violence. And I only point this out because the various racist groups that are set up in this country by whites and who have actually practiced violence against blacks for 400 years are never associated or identified or made synonymous with the term violence. But whites speak of Muslims almost synonymously with violence. Whenever Muslims are mentioned by them, violence is brought up, but it's not connected with any other group. This is a sort of a propaganda tactic, or what I would call psychological warfare, to in some way make the image of the Muslims in this country be a violent image rather than a religious image.
I'd like to ask a question in that regard. What's interesting is that members of the Nation of Islam have not used violence even when Black Americans were attacked. How do you account for this? Does this in any way contradict some of the basic premises of your movement?
I don't know how you mean.
Well, you maintain, for example, that you will not, or that you should not use violence unless you are attacked by the white man. And I think we can note in the last several years, certainly, dozens and dozens and dozens of instances in which Negroes have been attacked, killed in some instances.
You mean in these demonstrations?
The demonstrations and the bombings, for example, recently in Birmingham, where they killed 4 little Negro girls. And what interests me is the fact is that the Nation of Islam has not done anything to retaliate.
I think you should be happy.
But the important thing is, does your lack of action contradict any of your basic principles?
I'll explain it. You should be happy that Muslims who follow the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, number one, don't believe in any form of integration, and believe that every mention of the word integration by whites, whether it be from the mouth of Kennedy on down to the mouth of the lowest, raggediest white liberal in the street who is beatnik-like involving himself in these integration efforts, if we believed in it, we would integrate and we would fight anybody who got in our way or made any effort whatsoever to stop us from integrating. If we really believed that the law of the land, the Supreme Court, and other so-called judicial bodies were for real when they talked about integration, we would integrate. And knowing that the law was on our side, and any effort we made to demonstrate toward integration, why, we would know the law should be on our side, if it's the law of the land. If it is the law of the land, then the demonstrators are within the law, and the discriminators are against the law. But to show you the hypocrisy of the law, when Negroes demonstrate for integration, instead of arresting the discriminators, the law arrests the demonstrators. So this is a foolish move on the part of Negroes. And when you foolishly get yourself involved with an enemy, then whatever comes upon you, that's your business. As Muslims, we believe that separation is the best way and the only sensible way, not integration. And but on the other hand, when we see our people being brutalized by white bigots, white racists, we think that they are foolish to allow themselves to be beaten and brutalized and do nothing whatsoever to protect themselves. They are foolish. They should have the right to defend themselves against any attack made against them by anyone. If a dog is biting a black man, the black man should kill the dog. Whether the dog is a police dog, a hound dog, or any kind of dog. If a dog is sick on a black man, when that black man is doing nothing but trying to take advantage of what the government says is supposed to be his, then that black man should kill that dog, or any two-legged dog who sicks the dog on it.
Should other black men help that particular person who was attacked?
I think you'll find, sir, that there will come a time when black people wake up and become intellectually independent enough to think for themselves, as other humans are intellectually independent enough to think for themselves. Then the black man will think like a black man, and he will feel for other black people. And this new thinking and feeling will cause black people to stick together. And then at that point, you'll have a situation where when you attack one black man, you are attacking all black men. And this type of black thinking will cause all black people to stick together. And this type of thinking also will bring an end to the brutality inflicted upon black people by white people. And it is the only thing that will bring an end to it. No federal court, state court, or city court will bring an end to it. It's something that the black man has to bring an end to himself.
Minister Malcolm, let me on the basis of your two remarks, ask a double-pronged question. One, is it then your assertion that the laws with respect to how Negroes are supposed to have equal opportunity and equal rights in this country are not meaningful or believed by whites? And secondly, what is your opinion and attitude toward the civil rights movement in general, and particularly the Reverend Martin Luther King and his philosophy of nonviolent direct action?
If the white people really passed meaningful laws, it would not be necessary to pass any more laws. There are already enough laws on the law books to protect an American citizen. You only need additional laws when you're dealing with someone who is not regarded as an American citizen. But whites are so hypocritical. They don't want to admit that this black man is not a citizen. So they classify him as a second-class citizen to get around making him a real citizen. If he was a real citizen, you'd need no more laws. You'd need no civil rights legislation. Civil rights, when you have civil rights, you have citizenship. It's automatic. White people don't need laws to protect their citizenship because they're citizens. But they don't want to tell us we're not citizens. And at the same time, they don't want to pass laws that are meaningful enough to protect us as if we were citizens. And the Supreme Court desegregation decision is the best example I know. That's a law from the Supreme Court. 10 years have gone by. No desegregated schools. It hasn't been implemented beyond, I think, 9% in 10 years. So this just shows you the hypocrisy of the American white man. They talk out of both sides of their mouth. And for this reason, we who are Muslims, that is, who believe in the religion of Islam, who believe in God, we don't believe that black people will ever get any problem with laws being passed or new persons being put in office, white liberals being put in office. There is nothing that the white man will ever do to bring about true, sincere citizenship or civil rights recognition for black people in this country. Nothing will they ever do. They will always talk it, but they won't practice it. And with the Supreme Court, if the NAACP can tell me that they want a desegregation decision for me 10 years ago, but yet the schools haven't been desegregated, as I say, this is a victory with no victory. It's a victory that you can talk about, but it's a victory you can't show me. So if you represent the NAACP and you are telling me about this,
Today, I want to talk about how black girls never really got a chance to learn how to date. When I say that, what I mean is we weren't really allowed to get to know boys. We weren't allowed to understand or learn how to be courted, to be treated. We got like some throwaway one-liners that basically boil down to leave these boys alone. Keep them out your pants. You better not come home with no baby. But I just remember being told that I needed to cover myself. I was taught to be ashamed of myself before I was taught how to embrace and love and learn and understand myself. There was all these rules around femininity and womanhood. And then you see the men just, well, you see the men. You see how the men are operating in today's society. Now, hear me and hear me good. I love being a black woman. We set the standard, baby, when it comes to culture, music, fashion. Black people in general are at the top of the totem pole, but black women, you give us something and we multiply that thing. We are the blueprint for elevation, okay? I love being a black woman. But it is dangerous and tiring at times, okay? Today, I want to talk about how black girls never really got a chance to learn how to
There's a lot of young people right now running around the internet, and they putting a lot of false rumors out there, and they saying that the Nation of Islam is responsible for the Minister Malcolm X's murder. When you hear things like that, what goes through your mind? What do you have to say to the young people that's out there listening to that?
I think it's unfortunate because, my father talked about being hoodwinked, bamboozled, and led astray. To think that the Nation of Islam killed Malcolm means that you don't understand the power that Malcolm had. When you understand the power that he had and the conviction and integrity and compassion and all the things that he had for his people, then you understand why he was killed. The nation, as were many other organizations, were infiltrated. Many government agencies played a part in killing my father. My father spoke about going to France.
There's a lot of young people right now running around the internet, and they putting a lot of false rumors out there, and they saying that the Nation of Islam is responsible for the Minister Malcolm X's murder. When you hear things like that, what goes through your mind? What do you have to say to the young people that's out there listening to that?
I think it's unfortunate because, my father talked about being hoodwinked, bamboozled, and led astray. To think that the Nation of Islam killed Malcolm means that you don't understand the power that Malcolm had. When you understand the power that he had and the conviction and integrity and compassion and all the things that he had for his people, then you understand why he was killed. The nation, as were many other organizations, were infiltrated. Many government agencies played a part in killing my father. My father spoke about going to France.
There's a lot of young people right now running around the internet, and they putting a lot of false rumors out there, and they saying that the Nation of Islam is responsible.
Woman who's like a hustler, woman who's like a go-getter, and she's passionate about whatever it is that she's doing and going 100 miles an hour. Like that type of woman makes you want to step in and make her life easier. Because you feel like, she not trying to take advantage of me, or she not trying to leech off of me, or, use me for a quick come up or whatever the case may be. So what that does as a man is it's like it makes you want to establish your presence in her life even more, because you see it going so well without you. Like she out there doing her one too, getting her degrees and, starting her businesses and, making bread and, making connections and, being somebody that's notable before you even get there. So then once you get there as a man, it's like, hey baby, how can I help keep this thing going? How can I help facilitate this? Put that purse up. I got it. No. I understand you used to making our decisions, but sit down real quick. Let me take this one. I understand you used to looking out for everybody. No. Sit down real quick. I'm gonna look out for you. I'm gonna take care of you. It's your turn to chill now. Like that's what that type of thing motivates a man to do. When we dealing with a woman who's like a hustler, a woman who's like a go-getter, and she's passionate about whatever it is that she's doing and going 100 miles an hour, like that type of woman makes you want to step in and make her life easier. Because you feel like, she not trying to take advantage of me, or she not trying to leech off of me, or, use me for a quick come up or whatever the case may be. So what that does as a man is it's like it makes you want to establish your presence in her life even more, because you see it going so well without you. Like she out there doing her one too, getting her degrees and, starting her businesses and, making bread and, making connections and, being somebody that's notable before.
Everything now has become contaminated, right? Our food, our vegetables, our water, our fruit. Is that right? But the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us how to detox, didn't he? How did he teach us to detox? Fasting. Eat once a day. Eat once every 2 days. Eat once every 3 days, and as long as you can. He said that's how you live a long life, because every food has some kind of poison in it. We are poisoning our systems now by the kind of food and drink that we are putting into our bodies. So we have to give the body rest in between the intake of our liquids and also of our food. This is one of the things that we are going to have to study very, very deeply in order to prolong our life. Because as long as Satan is here tinking and tampering with our food, putting hormones in the meats, injecting some kind of artificial tomato, I don't know, and every other vegetable and fruit, our lives are definitely in danger. Everything now has become
I've never been with a black man before, but I swear I cheat on my man for him after what he just said. Watch this.
If you take off your bra and your breasts are sagging down low, that's your body telling you it needs more minerals. If your sacred space down there don't smell right even after you wash, that's your body crying for help with its balance. If your belly is poking out like you 7 months pregnant, that's your system begging for fulvic acid. Can't sleep through the night? That's your body missing what it needs to rest. If your digestion stays messed up, bloating, cramps, gas, that's your gut waving the white flag. If your legs cramp up at night, if your muscles ache for no reason, if you wake up tired even after 8 hours, baby, your body is screaming for real nutrition. Now here's the problem. Most folks try to fix all this with a cabinet full of pills, magnesium this, vitamin C that, iron, B complex, probiotics, the whole damn alphabet. That's expensive, it's stressful, and half the time you forget to take them anyway. That's why I tell people all the time, stop chasing symptoms and start feeding your body what it's really missing. And that's Shilajit. Straight from the Himalayas, this natural mineral resin is packed with over 85 trace minerals and fulvic acid. No sugar, no fillers, no fake stuff, just pure earth medicine. One little pea-sized dose in the morning is all it takes, and your body starts coming back to life. You start sleeping deeper, waking up refreshed. Your energy is steady all day. Your mind is clearer. Your digestion calms down. Cramps ease. Stress lifts. And your body finally feels like it's working with you instead of against you. Shilajit powers over 400 processes in your body, from stress control to muscle recovery to gut health to hormone balance. But let me be real with you. Most of what they sell out here under the name Shilajit is fake, watered down, or full of fillers that won't do a damn thing. The only brand I trust is Vital Herbs Shilajit. Pure, clean, lab-tested resin, straight from the source. If you still see the link in my bio, that means it's in stock. But don't wait too long, because once it's gone, folks be waiting months to get it back.
I've never been with a black man before, but I swear I cheat on my man for him after what he just said. Watch this.
If you take off your bra and your breasts are sagging down low, that's your body telling you it needs more minerals. If your sacred space down there don't smell right even after you wash, that's your body crying for help with its balance. If your belly is poking out like you 7 months pregnant, that's your system begging for fulvic acid. Can't sleep through the night? That's your body missing what it needs to rest. If your digestion stays messed up, bloating, cramps, gas, that's your gut waving, legs cramp up at night, if your muscles ache for no reason, if you wake up tired even after 8 hours, baby, your body is screaming for real nutrition. Now here's the problem. Most folks try to fix all this with a cabinet full of pills, magnesium this, vitamin C that, iron, B complex, probiotics, the whole damn alphabet. That's expensive, it's stressful, and half the time you forget to take them anyway. That's why I tell people all the time, stop chasing symptoms and start feeding your body what it's really missing. And that's Shilajit. Straight from the Himalayas, this natural mineral resin is packed with over 85 trace minerals and fulvic acid. No sugar, no stuff, just pure earth medicine. One little pea-sized dose in the morning is all it takes, and your body starts coming back to life. You start sleeping deeper, waking up refreshed. Your energy is steady all day. Your mind is clear. Digestion calms down. Cramps ease. Stress lifts. Finally feels like it's working with you instead of against you. Shilajit powers over 400 processes in your body, from stress control to muscle recovery to gut health to hormone balance. But let me be real with you. Most of what they sell out here under the name Shilajit
There are fools in this country who try to claim that they are not Africans, who claim that they do not see color. as if their not seeing color makes any difference in the world. Simply because you don't see color doesn't mean somebody does not see you as color. And that's the issue. And you think then that you can sit in this country while this same nation and these same people that you sleep with and marry and love and so forth can go out and destroy African people and not think those people do not see you as African, even though you choose not to see yourself as African. You'd better think again. You're out of your minds and you're headed for death. You must understand that. Hide behind these, I am an American. I am a human being. Ladies and gentlemen, these death and destruction of black people will follow those kind of abstractions. We don't call them black poor anymore. We call them the underclass, right? The hardcore unemployed. The other night on Channel 13, they called them the throwaway people. No racial name hooked into it. They talked about, and you what you call, and we get these bunch of people who want to identify black progress with their getting jobs. You know, there are only about 700,000 black people in this country making over $50,000 a year. Yeah. There are fools in this country who try to claim that they are not Africans, who claim that they do not see color, as if their not seeing color makes any difference in the world. Simply because you don't see color doesn't mean somebody does not see you as color. And that's the issue. And you think then that you can sit in this country while this same nation and these same people that you sleep with and marry and love and so forth can go out and destroy African people and not think those people do not see you as African, even though you choose not to see yourself as African. You'd better think again. You're out of your minds and you're headed for death. You must understand that. Hide behind these, I am an American. I am a human being. Ladies and gentlemen, these death and destruction of black people will follow those kind of abstractions. We don't call them black poor anymore. We call them the underclass, right? The hardcore unemployed. The other night on Channel 13, they called them the throwaway people. No racial name hooked into it. They talked about, and you what you call, and we get these bunch of people who want to identify black progress with their getting jobs. You know, they only
before Kwame Nkrumah, before Marcus Garvey, before the African Union. There was a journalist, a writer with a vision so bold he challenged empires with his pen. His name? Henry Sylvester Williams, the man who lit the first Pan-African flame. Born in Trinidad in 1869 to formerly enslaved African parents, Williams believed that black people on every continent shared one struggle. He moved to London, studied law, and founded a newspaper, the African Review. It didn't just report news, it connected the African world long before the internet or hashtags. In 1900, he organized the first Pan-African Conference in London. It brought together activists from Africa, the Caribbean, and the US, including W.E.B. Du Bois. They asked, Africa for Africans. Freedom from racial oppression. This was decades before most African nations gained independence. Williams was the first voice calling for Pan-African unity. He fought colonial racism through journalism, speeches, and the courts. He inspired generations from Garvey to Nkrumah, from Harlem to Accra. Though he died in 1911, his words still echo, "We are not inferior. We are not voiceless. We are one people across oceans." Henry, before Kwame Nkrumah, before Marcus Garvey.
Of my ancestors, and the legacy of those, who reimagined, law in pursuit of justice. I commit myself I commit myself to hard work, discipline, and excellence. I will do the work necessary to be excellent. Of my ancestors and the legacy of those who reimagine law in pursuit of justice. I commit myself to hard work, discipline, and excellence. I will do the work necessary to be excellent.
Says, and it does, that white folks on average have 15 times the net worth of black folks, 13 times the net worth of Latino folk, right? We just assume, well, we must have worked harder. Is that right? That's interesting, because actually the black folks and brown folks have done some of the hardest work in this country ever since the country was founded. Were it not for the labor of African descended peoples, there would be no country at all. In fact, it was my family, white slave owning family in the South, that got black folks to do all the hard work because we were lazy asses and didn't want to work at all. White folks in the South on the plantation used to want to sit on the porch and drink mint juleps and have carriage rides rather than work, while black folks did all the real labor. And yet we decided that black folks are lazy, which I find fascinating. Right. And then people write to me and say, well, these black people, they're just taking all the jobs. OK, which is it, Precious? Because it can't be both. People of color can't take all the jobs and be lazy. I don't ask much of racists, because I expect very little, but you cannot be lazy and take all the jobs. Are we at least clear on that? Like, if you took all the jobs, you were like the opposite of lazy. If you are indeed lazy, you probably did not even take one job, let alone all of them. So I just need racists to get their damn story straight. That's all I ask. I just don't like moving targets. That's all, right? But if I don't tell my daughter the truth, she defaults to the position of the culture, and then she can't understand what the problem is. The same is true with policing. You can't understand the Black Lives Matter movement and the importance of it if you don't know the history and the relationship between law enforcement and black and brown peoples. If you understood that history, you wouldn't ask one question about why this movement is necessary and why it's righteous. If you knew that history, but you don't know it, and it's not your fault. You weren't supposed to know it, and nobody taught it to you, right? So you don't have to know that modern policing traces back to slave patrols. That black folks' first experience with law enforcement was having, you know who? Working class and poor white folks on horseback going around keeping black folks in line on behalf of the rich master that owned all the property. That sounds a lot like modern policing, because ain't no rich people policing, right? It's working class folks who are out there protecting the property of rich people against the depredations of poor people. That's what modern policing is, and it traces back. And we know that's what modern policing is, by the way, because we will lock you up for 10 years for $100 worth of food stamp fraud. But if you take $12.5 trillion on Wall Street, 20% of the net worth of this country, you will not do 1 day in jail. So we know that law enforcement has got nothing to do with enforcing the law. It's got nothing to do with good people and bad people, lawbreakers and the law abiding. It only has to do with controlling certain people. And black and brown folks know it was cops who were involved in race riots and racial terrorism against black communities for the first 50 years of the 20th century. You didn't learn about that in class either, and that's not your fault. It wasn't taught. But in fact, every single year, just about from 1900 all the way to the 1930s, 1940s at least, there were race riots where white folks would just go into black communities, burn them to the ground, bomb them from the air, like in Tulsa, Oklahoma, rip people out of their homes, beat them in the street, and police sat by, watched it happen, and participated. That doesn't mean that every cop in the modern era is like that, but it means that black folks can be excused for being not so clear on the decency of police in their communities because there's a history there. It was police who dragged black folks and white allies off of those sit-in stools at lunch counters in the South to enforce segregation. See, when your job is to enforce the law, and for most of American history, the law was against you as a people, then enforcing the law means you are the first line of oppression. People of color know that history and need to be excused when they don't just get over it, because that continues. How do we know it continues? Very easy. We know from the data on racial profiling that black folks are twice as likely as white folks to be stopped and searched for drugs, even though white folks are more likely to have drugs on us on the occasions that we're searched. White folks use drugs and sell drugs at the same or higher rate than black folks and Latinos, And yet it is black folks and Latinos who in any given year make up 85 to 90% of the people who get arrested and incarcerated for a drug offense. See, people of color know that. And if we don't understand when black folks rise up and say Black Lives Matter. Well, what do you mean? All lives matter. Yes, sweetheart, I know they do. Yes, they do. And that is a totally irrelevant and unnecessary point to make. You see, you don't have to say all lives matter. We take that for granted. What we've never accepted in this country is that black and brown life matter. You have to proclaim that which is ignored, you see. That's why we have Black History Month right now and not White History Month. We don't have to have the White History Month because we got May and June and July and August. And every other month where we learn about white folks, we don't have to call it that. See how slick that is? That's how white supremacy operates. You don't have to call it White History Month. You just call it history, literature and theater and poetry and art. You don't have to racialize where it came from, right? That's what Molefi Asante at Temple calls universalizing the particular, which is the hallmark of Eurocentric thought. Right? Not everybody's experience is the same. And so when certain people have been left out of all, you have to call that out by name. Because see, we've always said all, then we didn't mean it. We said all men are created equal, and we didn't mean that shit. Right? We didn't mean women, but we didn't even mean all men. We said all, and it was a lie when we said it. Right? And so in a sense, when you say Black Lives Matter, to respond with all lives matter would be like going in a time machine back to 1971. Y'all won't remember this. Those who were students, those who were older will. Around 1970, 71, 72, the big phrase was black is beautiful, right? There was this desire to take back the beauty narrative from a beauty industry, fashion industry, glamour industry that had hijacked it and denigrated black physicality and beauty, right? So folks were saying black is beautiful to reclaim a sense of beauty for themselves. It'd be like getting in a time machine, going back to 1971, hearing somebody say black is beautiful and tapping them on the shoulder and going, but we're all beautiful in our own way. Yes, shut up. We know. Not the point. It'd be like going back to the early 80s when the HIV/AIDS crisis started. And it took several years for the president of the United States to even utter the word. Ronald Reagan didn't want to even utter the word, let alone cut loose with funding to deal with the problem until his buddy Rock Hudson died of it. And then all of a sudden he was willing to talk about it a little bit, right? So for the first several years, what'd you have? You had activists out in the street, you had ACT UP, Gay Men's Health Crisis, out in the street demanding research and funding for HIV/AIDS, right? And what they were saying in effect was people with AIDS lives matter. That wasn't the actual phrase, and we didn't have hashtags, but that was essentially what they were saying, right? People with AIDS lives matter, and we need to pay attention because right now we're not paying attention to that. And we don't seem to believe it as a society, so we need to start believing it. It would be like getting in a time machine, going back to 1983, 82, in the middle of an ACT UP event or a Gay Men's Health Crisis event and shutting down the protest by saying, yeah, but what about pancreatic cancer? People die of all kinds of things, right? Sort of not the point. You have to proclaim that which is ignored. And if we know the history, we understand that, right? Because if we know the history, we know that it is indeed black life. And I would suggest brown life, life of color generally, indigenous life, that is usually denigrated, demeaned, ignored. On a sexual level, it's trans lives that are demeaned, ignored, right? It's women as women. So sometimes you got to proclaim that which is not in the obvious frame of reference. There's nothing pernicious about it. It's not about saying black lives are worth more than other lives. It's about, damn it, these lives actually do matter. And even though the history says they don't, we're here to tell you that they do.
Hello. Welcome to another session of Visions Now, your supper club. And I'm Dr. Jaylene Hood, your host and executive producer. And of course, we have the team here today, Brother Julian, Brother Nate, and just trying to dip in here. Hope that you enjoyed the and of course, as usual, you can join us. And I guess I send it to you. You sent it to Jaylene Hood page as well.
Yes.
Okay. And of course, the group to share. Again, there are a lot of things going on, and we're going to take a look at some things nationally, some things locally as well. Of course, there's a lot of things are gearing up right now. Really, locally in local political arena. But again, you know, some of you maybe don't know, but we do have a position paper. And I'm trying to grab it over here if I can. Okay, thank you. A position paper that we want all the politicians who are running for an office. We want all of them, you know, through little technical difficulties, all of them to tell us where they stand on these positions. And these are not any new positions. These are positions that came from the New Era Coalition, community survey of issues that impacted, and of course the mission, and all our mission basically centers around our desire to prevent community gun violence among our youth and provide and facilitate more positive activities and alternatives for them. And it's our belief, been of our belief, that at the center of the facilitation of positive activities and alternatives start with the Liberty Theater. And we're the only people in this community that don't have really a place that we can call home outside of, you know, when you deal with the churches, well, you know, churches, there's a certain sector of people in the churches. Certain schools, okay, certain schools. But when it comes to the Liberty, that's a place where all of us can come together on our terms, on our grounds. Everywhere else we go to St. Luke, Green Island Country Club, the Country Club, Columbus Country Club, the Trade Center, the River Center, the Spring Opera House, all those places, we are visitors and we're spending money, but that money does not come back into our community. It does not circulate back. The only place that we had in a public domain place has been the Liberty Theater. And that's where we've held our festivals, we've had our hip hop summits, we've had our Kwanzaa celebrations, we've had our plays, we've had movies, we've had book reviews, we've had wedding parties. We've had guest speakers. In other words, it's that place that we can nurture and feed our community the type of intellectual and cultural nutrition that's required. And unfortunately, we do no longer have that. And that's a battle that we cannot give up on, just like we can't give up on our HBCUs. We can't give up on our Black business community. We got to rebuild our Black business communities. We have to take back our communities and make them livable and lovable again. In other words, we cannot wait for someone else to do that for us, but we do need that space, that historic space there that we call the Liberty District. And of course, the heart and the soul and the mind of the Liberty District called the Liberty Theater Cultural Arts Center. And anybody that's running, we are basically our position statement, because and it goes like this. The New Era Coalition has surveyed over 1,000 citizens within our most distressed neighborhoods to identify their concerns and solutions to the tragic loss of lives, to gun violence and incarceration of our youth. These solutions obtained will require a conscientious government and civic partnership. Now, the government, you know what that is, and the civic partnership, that's who we are. And we're saying we're willing to partner with the city government to make sure this happens. But we do not want to gentrify the Liberty Theater. We do not want to, we were kidnapped and brought here from Africa. Right now, there's a kidnapping taking place of the Liberty Theater. Right now, the Liberty Theater is in prison. If you go down there, there's a fence around it, and we can't get to it. And of course, we didn't put the fence up. And unfortunately, we're going to have to put on our candidates who are running for elected office. Now, if you don't want to do this, then just say you don't give a doggone about your children. You don't give a doggone about the future of the black community in Columbus, Georgia, because basically we're being starved out as it is. Many of you don't vote, used to vote, don't vote no more because the politicians have really done a poor job as a rule representing the interests. Look at Columbus. Anyone that's been around Columbus for 15 or 20 years can remember the changes. Now, the south side, the central Columbus, East Winland, etc., and the east side have gone down in the last 40 years. And the others, parts of the community, downtown, Bibb City, they've even built Bibb City and built it back better. They got everything in Bibb City. I'm trying to say they bought Bibb City, but we can't even get a garden on the south side. And they selling food. Got a restaurant down there. I mean, but go on to read. We believe that change in our city council representation is a positive step to begin the reconciliation required to address these serious issues. We believe governmental representation, who believe in investment and coordinated efforts to prevent and intervene in this negative culture of teen and adult violence requires much more than over-policing. It is, I believe, we must begin providing families and neighborhoods with resources and strategies proposed by the U.S. Justice Department of Community Violence Intervention, which are designed to deter gang affiliation and hopelessness, and this must be done with compassion. We therefore ask you to prioritize the following issues as major concerns to help us improve our community's health and well-being. We are preparing to distribute to the voters throughout the community our platform slate. The slate will identify your support of these people's platform initiatives. 1, reentry program and resources, adult reentry, juvenile reentry, and community reintegration with proper legal and mental health services go to adjudicated offenders. Next, parent strengthening groups, giving parents an opportunity to receive assistance on how to better co-parent, how to better support their children and their academic well-being. Next, cultural arts and recreation. This is the big one to me. Cultural arts and recreation. The reopening of all recreation centers, in particularly at-risk areas, fully staffed with activities targeting 14 to 19-year-olds, encouraging them to participate in community crime prevention efforts. And this is where we come down where the rubber meets the road. Reinstating the Liberty Theater community-based board of directors to include all members recommended by the city council and members selected by the interdenominational ministerial alliance to assure programs and activities which are relevant to all congregations and sectors of the Black community. All of Columbus is relevant to the other national majority, but the Liberty Theater in this area, surrounding area, has been the only area that has not been treated properly, and is in the shadow of the jail. And so, like now, I understand they just got $500 million to build a new jail, but we can't. But we can't get $1 million for the Liberty Theater. We should be able to get $50 million for the Liberty Theater. Right. You see, but if they can get $500 million for a jail, okay. Now, it goes on to say that the city council and members selected by the interdenominational ministerial alliance programs and activities which are relevant. So what we're saying here very simple is this: we need a place to cultivate and celebrate who we are in this community. We always have to go into other people's places to do that. The Liberty Theater has historically, that's why they call it the Liberty Theater. It is our place where we are liberated, we are free to evolve and grow our culture in our community. Right. So again, what I mean, are we just blowing in the wind here, gentlemen?
Sound prophetic to me.
I'm just wondering here because you need to move it just a little bit, Julian. Lean forward a little bit. Okay, there you go. No, I mean, I'm just saying though is that am I overstating the value of the Liberty Theater? I mean, what do y'all think? And what I mean, and by the way, if you have not, can you all start to engaging people in our community in particular about what I mean? What do they feel about this issue? I mean, I know many people. It's been down so long, and one, you know, they I mean, they don't really understand. But I mean, being of the generation that did know it did. There are people who remember the Kwanzaa celebrations and the hip hop summit celebration, the plays, and all the other fine events that we Commerce Town used to do an annual Head and Shoulders Above the Rest event there and things. I mean, it's always been that place where we, no matter what part of town, no matter what your economic class was, this was a place where we were integrated into. So I don't know that a lot of people, you know, like out of sight, out of mind, I guess. I don't know, but I'm saying that it's time to have that discussion.
Yeah, I don't think it's being overvalued, so to speak. Maybe even under by the community, maybe undervalued. You know, again, really for all of the reasons. Yeah, going back to the document, it was pretty prophetic. I mean, we kind of, I mean,
that part. I mean,
part of a previous plan. I think
right. And this for all, particularly for the elected officials.
Yeah, that's the part. That was the thing that I think was so prophetic. It was for, you know, anybody running
for anything.
Yeah, and now that, you know, the season is here, I think that now would be the time to kind of definitely get kind of
exactly. And of course we've kept it in our minds, but like I said, that when people come asking for votes, then we can say, well, if you can make sure that you're going to work on reinstating the Liberty Theater Community-Based Board of Directors to include members recommended by the City Council and members selected by the Interdenominational Ministerial Alliance on behalf of the Black community to ensure programs and activities which are relevant to all congregations and sectors of our community. We say, hey, right on with the right on.
Right.
Black power.
Yes, sir.
You know, that part, you know, and that's the thing that kind of troubles me. And we're gonna talk about this. We're gonna raise that here every week. You know, I've been hearing some shows I listen to lately. There's been some discussion about, this is coronavirus season. I mean, I've known some people who kind of, I don't know if y'all seen people.
Some kids at the club.
Okay, see what I'm saying? And so I don't know where they picking it up. You good?
Right,
I want you to bring them from the club.
Yeah. We've had to, of course, take measures and everything.
Okay.
Yeah, it's when you said that, it's like, yep.
Okay, and because I know people, and I so far, like I said, that even when I went to the conference recently. Oh, by the way, I do have a little souvenir, a little pin of that we got the souvenir for you. And somebody, got coronavirus while they were there.
Right.
And I knew some people right here, in Columbus. I mean, that I know now. But my point is this: I've been listening about. Apparently, there's been some discussions on the national level about the CDC. Y'all been following the Center for Disease Control?
Not tightly.
Okay, well, you got to watch it because the people are resigning from the CDC, which means that monitoring of the diseases is not, is suffering. Yeah. Now, Mr. Robert Kennedy Jr. Had been put on the hot seat because now he was saying that it's questionable as to whether or not the coronavirus vaccine really helped or hurt people.
Yeah.
I mean, what you haven't gone through it. You remember when that was there. I mean, we couldn't go no. I mean, y'all lived through that.
Yeah,
exactly. I mean, so given what was your take on? By the way, let me ask you, Did y'all take the vaccine?
I did not.
Okay, neither did I.
You're right. We made it. Yeah, everybody good?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't take the vaccine, and now, but it gets kind of funny because, Mr. Trump's administration is the one that's pushing back on it, right?
Oh, yeah. Really?
And saying Big Pharma is pimping people.
Yeah.
And then the liberals, so to speak, are saying that they are putting everybody at risk because
they're not taking it.
right. They're not making it available. Blah blah blah. Right. Do you have any thoughts about that? I mean, do you have any feelings about it? I'm trying to be cautious. Matter of fact, I need you all to check my gun to check the temperature.
Oh yeah.
I changed batteries on it, but I'm doing something wrong. Y'all probably know how to check it out. So that I was getting ready to check them out the other day, and it wasn't working right. So I got some batteries to put in there, but then maybe I put in the batteries in the wrong side. But my point is, I mean, what is your? I mean, in hindsight now, I've heard some people say, I mean, they, but I know, I mean, I've also heard people who took it, they died from it, so to speak. And then others saying that it's something that's going to be in your body, and breaking down. I mean, so what have you heard, and what do you think about which way should things go here? Is there a middle ground for this coronavirus situation concerned? You ever talked to your mom anybody about it? I mean,
not since, because it probably hasn't even been such a big thing to them. My family, they're not as much around people, like with their work and everything. So that conversation hasn't been, or that topic hasn't been explored.
I mean, tell me like from the time during the pandemic.
Right, since then.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So was there any discussion? What was the talk during the pandemic about what y'all doing and what you shouldn't be doing, and did y'all have a discussion about? I know there are some people who had to take it because they work required them to take it.
And that's what I'm thinking now. During that time, my brothers and my mom, they were not in a job to where it required it. So it was really just left on, our own liberty.
Right.
Most of us took the liberty to not take it.
Right.
So, I mean, just talking about it, it was a health, it's just how we viewed our own health. Did we trust the doctors and what they said, or do we, looking at, okay, the people who did take it, what happened with them?
Right. Well, you know what I'm saying? I mean, like in my case, my family was like that. They held out, but many of them, for example, like had a daughter who worked in the medical field, so therefore she had to take it in order to continue to do that. I have another daughter that worked in the education system, and the school team, they had to take it, like that. Now, I think that as a rule, that was pretty much it. I mean,
I know military people, I think they had to take it.
Yeah, there's military people had to take it as well, and there were some people who got out of the military, and there were some people. I remember there's some people on the news. They on the news that they worked in the news right here locally, and that matter of fact, Dave Platter with Channel 9, he refused to take it, and he lost his job.
I think I remember hearing about that.
Yeah. So that's something that's saying said. So moving forward, I mean, but again, now I guess my concern is that on the one hand, I guess my thing, a few weeks ago we had the president, I guess, of the Black Medical Society here in Columbus, Georgia, and we kind of talked a little bit about it. But I guess on one hand, I think that we need to have our Black medical professionals to step up and to be more open and more visible about what are they suggesting. Based, based
kind of filter it out.
Yeah. Because since it's not going to be anything coming now, I mean, like right now, it's like, again, people, you can take it if you want to. I mean, like, but then many times people, there are some people who they're talking about things they were polio and other things like that. I think it was polio. One of them polio. At one point, it was told. I know in the Nation of Islam, it was said that there was one of those vaccines. I put it on my page. It said that they were actually giving you, I think maybe it was polio, like that, you know. Now I know I have not taken the flu vaccine.
Right.
And like, I mean, I think I took it one time,
Right.
and that was not a good experience. So my point is that, you know, I don't know. I'm just trying to. In other words, I'm trying to be my yacht. I'm trying to be balanced. You know, I'm trying. You know,
avoid extremism.
Yeah. I'm just trying to find a kind of middle ground there, as to what. As a rule, I lean to. Well, you don't know where I lean. I lean to holistic. I mean, that's just.
I ain't getting the vaccine, but I was building out drinking lemon tea and
that part, and of course I got my moringa and I got my soursop, and you know all those, you know, all that, you know, that type of thing. I, you know, could have put my aromatherapy thing in place, and you know, of course in the business, I know you know we wear masks doing our groups, and we never stopped. I mean, because I mean, yeah. So I'm just saying that those things are there, you know, and again, I mean, what do you think? I mean, just do that at the university. You know, I don't know. Did they come on? Did they require it or not?
Not from what I see. Not for like condition for enrollment or anything. But yeah, kind of in the same way, you know, I just, you know, I got a extremism, but also maintaining, be extremism, but staying in contact with realism.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I don't. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to. I do have a position, and I've had a position that I trust, you know, and you know, and so I have a new position now because my previous position retired, and so you know, I guess again and one thing about it, I always have a discussion. I don't just say, "Oh, take it, okay, well, when are you gonna take it?"
Yeah.
No, I kind of. Well, what about so? I mean, I have a discussion. Yeah, and sometimes I mean, you know, like I said, sometimes you know, we reach a compromise, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? So one thing about it, I try to nip things in the bud when I can. You know, I mean that type of thing, and I think that you know, try to keep your mask around. You know, so that again, you know, at these times now, particularly when you around groups and things like that, enclosed and things of that sort. I mean, you know, I don't know. Of course, I'm one of the risky groups, given my age situation. So I don't know, but again, so right now, you haven't heard no conversation among your peer groups at all about it at all. Just not hit. You know, what I mean, there's no passing thoughts or nothing like that.
Not particularly. Just not in the peer groups. I forgot.
What about your family? What about your mom and your sister? You know, what about in your case?
Yeah, not within the family really either. The only thing I did see was I can't remember if it was online or if I was in conversation with somebody. But basically, it's kind of what you're saying. Kind of, it's been an increase. It might have been me. The kind of increase in the COVID spikes or the COVID cases just around the time when school started and really, I guess it's going to be fall here soon.
What about during the pandemic? Did anybody in your family? I mean, you know, kind of.
Yeah, I believe.
Didn't think much about it like that.
Are you talking about the vaccine or
the vaccine?
Yeah, I think I know I didn't. I don't think. Any of my sisters, did they get the vaccine? I'm not sure. I don't think my little sister did.
Okay.
I know that my mom did. I know my dad did not.
Your dad said he passed.
Yeah. But yeah, in terms of when it was kind of in the thick of it, that was, you know, that was pretty much it. Everybody pretty much kind of took their position.
Okay.
We're gonna roll out.
Yeah. Again, like I said, that I just, you know, I just don't trust it. I mean, I mean, now again, I'm not suggesting that's right for everybody because I mean, some people maybe that's a better choice, you know, so to speak. You know, than then
Fool me once, shame on
yeah,
you.
yeah, that part. I mean, the Tuskegee experiment always come up in my mind, and
exactly.
different things like that. So now, in the final call this week, of course, for everybody who well, I'm looking at this, but this is let me see, that's Theo from the Cosby Show. Was there much discussion? I know one part there was kind of hype discussion about him. Did you participate in the discussion, or anybody say anything to you about? I mean, some people felt it was kind of strange, and I mean, was there anything in particular just that they just said because he was lost?
No. Theo from Cosby Show.
Right. Huh?
No. Sadly enough. I haven't had anybody really have, at least in person.
Okay, I just heard I listen to a lot of talk shows and things like that, and so so I kind of heard some things, Now, moving on to one other issue, another issue, not one other, but it said U.S. war machine looms over Venezuela. Have you again? By the way, are college students keeping up with what's going on in the world? I mean, your general. I mean, I've heard about that. That was it was kind of a bogus rationale. What I heard, it didn't make sense, but it's something else behind that. I mean, have you ever been paying attention to it? Do you watch the news? I mean,
I do.
I just grew up all my life. It's a daily thing to just kind of find out, what's going on, right? What people
like
talking
this
about.
generation is more so you get their news from social media,
Huh?
and so whatever the social media,
So what is raging on social media nowadays? I mean, it might be
Young Thug snitching. That's crazy.
Yeah, okay, talk to me a little bit about that. I mean, because I missed that.
No, my coworker was just talking about it.
Yeah, but I'm saying that I know who Young Thug is. I'm trying to is this something new or this? I mean, is this something recent? Was he on trial in Atlanta?
And I think the thing was he was snitching, right? He was snitching on his partners, and that's now us as a Black community, we're shunning him, or now he has, because before that, Young Thug was one of the, it was you got Young Thug, Future. These are artists that everybody knows, and from Georgia, Atlanta, the South, really just the South.
Okay, now what can help me here? I mean, and maybe some other generation. I mean, now is this the guy who was doing the killing, or is this something? This is another one. You know what I'm talking about? The trial that went on for a year, and what was that? And they had this, and he took a plea that he had to leave Georgia or something like that. And
right, no, that wasn't Young Thug.
Then his boy was kind of a comic guy. Remember, he kind of been on some TV thing.
Yeah.
I mean, the other guy, the little short guy that said that he's been doing all the shooting and all that kind of stuff.
Anyway, but
but that's I mean, so it's not that. It's not them. This is another trial. That's what this is. What is? I guess what is this trial about? I mean, like, what is Young Thug? What was he snitching about? I mean, like, what had been done? What was done?
Yeah, when my coworkers told me about it, I try not to put my focus on that. So I wouldn't even be able to.
Julian, you
kind of did all.
Yeah, what he's trying to get, but
it's like I hear peripheral things, but I make an effort to try to tune it out. Actually,
okay. Well, I mean, what do you hear? I mean, I'm just,
people are, the news they are, listening to or thinking about or talking about.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So I mean, like, what is? I mean, I'm still asking, what is it? I mean, like, what was the issue? I mean, like, what was he charged with? I mean, like, what did they expect him to do? I mean, I don't know.
I don't know the parameters of the situation itself, but yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Like, I guess the thing is, again, you're not supposed to snitch
Yeah, well,
and
snitch,
so
well, see, my thing about snitching is this. Snitching is now it's like this. If I did something, right, and we did it together, right, then I speak to what I did, you know, like that, right? Or either if I know you and I wasn't part of it, but I know you, then I'm not going to speak on that, okay? But again, I guess what I'm trying to say is that I mean I'm trying to understand what was he snitching about? About himself, or was I mean I'm that's what I'm trying to get at the bottom of that.
Yeah, at the very least, I'm aware that he was snitching on somebody else.
Okay.
My coworker was telling me today, it was like the newest video out was it was a phone call that they was having, I think, every day about him talking about I don't think he said who, but I do know that it was somebody else that he was talking about.
Right.
So that was probably the part of the whole.
Is he locked up? Or he just snitching and
then they let him go?
I mean, that's what I'm trying to understand. Like, I mean, let me tell you, when people be facing a certain amount of time, they be like, Junior, you gonna tell, or am I gonna tell?
Right, who's gonna do it?
Yeah, I mean, you know, you tell your part, I tell my part, then I don't have to tell your part. I'm just saying that, you know, yeah, we be roommates, you know, or whatever. I mean, like, I'm trying to understand. Y'all have to help me here now, y'all. I mean,
sadly, on this case, I don't
okay.
know.
Okay, well, I don't know. Okay,
what's the audience thing? What y'all?
Yeah, I don't know. What else have you been hearing on the I mean, what else is on social media? See, everybody, with me, I'm a lot of boy girl stuff. I mean, you know, you might like my real. Right. I mean, like, it's like ladies. There are a lot of more ladies who are saying these other girls, they out their mind, who talking about they don't need no man, and they don't mean and there are a lot of them who don't need no man no way because they ain't gonna treat them right. No, there's more ladies who coming out saying, "Hey, look, I'm with the guys. I'm down with the guy. Yeah. I'm not trying to be independent. Yeah. I'm trying to be with somebody. Right. I'm not trying to be not with somebody. Right. You know. Yeah. So I'm well. You know, I see a lot of that. So what are y'all? I mean, y'all on there. So I mean, like, what are you seeing? I mean, what type of things are you discussing on there?
Let's see. Because again, I'm really kind of keen to Nate. I try to take like breaks from social media because it'd be a lot of nonsense. Yeah, I forgot. I'm sure it's like a psychological thing, but like information overload, it kind of can ruin your day or ruin your mood.
Well, you know, I mean, like with me, I guess my algorithms are different. I guess because you see the kind of stuff I get. Those are the kind of things I get.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. Exactly. So I don't, that's what I'm trying to say. There's other things I don't know.
Don't even see, like,
yeah. So I mean, just like I'm in divine teaching and stuff. So I mean, so a lot of Mills Pride kind of stuff. I mean, so I don't. I mean, like, and just those kind of things. So I don't get them. Just like some people don't get my stuff because I guess their algorithm, they get. That's what I'm trying to say. That maybe you get certain things. I mean, what kind of things do cross your path? I mean, that's what
I'm actually getting more of those things because when I'll get a reel about talking about the Black community, and I'll share that. Right. I'll share that, and so everything I've been sharing has kind of been on that. Right. So that's really the only reason I'm starting to get on social media because it's actually starting.
Yeah, I mean, that's again, like I say, it just is a matter of, and I get some real good stuff gonna help me with the book. I mean, I got some real good stuff. That's I mean, I get a lot of good stuff, in terms of that. But what are you so what are you doing then? I mean, you're on social media, you're watching TV, you're watching a movie, you went out to movie lately, anything like that? I mean,
I guess It's been a lot of just work and studying. I'm dog tired. I was like,
Okay. So what are you studying?
yeah, a lot. Basically, what is it? Right now again, I'm still getting ready. I got this exam, this calculus exam that I've been studying for.
Oh, okay.
That's really takes the cake on my end. Work just getting things. Trying to get business in order. Let me see if I've been reading anything lately. I stopped reading a book about a month ago. That's really kind of also where my head's been as well. But it's mainly been kind of studying that whole calculus thing and, just trying to stay on top of work and, trying to maintain.
Right. Well, again, for example, that I guess.
I did hear something about it was a baby found in the dumpster somewhere on the
side. Yeah. I saw that as well. And they said the baby was in a garbage bag. I don't know whether they closed it up, but I guess the baby still could breathe. Yeah, and they said the baby was in good shape. Now they're trying to find out.
Okay, so it was. I thought it had passed, but so it was a lie. The baby.
Well, they said the baby was in. Like real good shape. That they're trying to find out who the mama is and that kind of thing now.
Yeah. And also some people, so that's legal in Georgia. Some people have brought up the legality of that. I saw that it would say it was like illegal. But in the state of Georgia, like that's the thing. Like if the baby's under 30 days old, you can drop it off
in a box or something like that. And maybe the person didn't know all that. Apparently, they put it in a dumpster. I know that's not legal. That type of thing. It's kind of sad there. There's another discussion here, and I don't know if y'all had a chance, but it says separation the best and only solution. And there's an article. And what do y'all think about separation? I mean, have y'all thought about it? Let's see here. Okay, that's okay. Yeah, I'm trying to find the summary page while I'm doing that. Okay, it's a big article here, but at the end it says, basically, it's been forced on us now, and the more that we try a different path and direction and go down the same road that we have been traveling for decades, expecting a different result, the result that we are looking for is not going to come until we take the path and the direction that Allah has given to us through the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And so basically just saying that someone said the Nubian Leadership Circle held a discussion around the theme, laying the foundation for our own. The three participants discussed the importance of land ownership, farming, and producing food. When the brothers and sisters talk about having land, farming, producing food, that's one of the most wonderful things that we can do, own land and then feed ourselves from our own land. In other messages, Mr. Farrakhan warned Black people that it is impossible for Black and white people to get along in peace. And he went on to explain that the history of that. And if there is no coexistence between the natural seed and the transgenic altered seed, and the altered seed will destroy the natural seed, then the same is also true in our race relations, because race relations will continue to get worse because the government cannot provide food, clothing, shelter, and jobs for us anymore. So again, I guess as we roll into, wrapping up tonight, let's have a little discussion about it. What do y'all think about separation? I'm saying that. There's the cognitive dissonance. The person said they for it, but they did nothing for it. So is that something valuable? In your idea, because now I've been working on that for the last 50 years. So I'm as you know, I'm down. Now many people have, separation is kind of like the same way people look at polygamy. Now I was just listening the other day, because I get a lot of things like that, and this young lady was saying that she's for polygamy, for a variety of reasons. Among them, she said that she's bisexual, and she would like to have a girlfriend, as well. And I'm trying to say, that ain't my reason. I mean, but I'm just trying to say, many times people they really been brought into polyamory, and they kind of mixed up because that's not polygamy.
Yeah.
Polygamy at the foundation is an economic system.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so therefore, it's like if you got another alternative, but rather than being by yourself, when you join in a family, raise your children and move on from there, as opposed to, well, okay, you got him first, and I guess I just have to do without you, Not, and I'm trying to say, I mean, that's not the way, because then those children grow up to be killers and robbers and thieves, and because they didn't have, so therefore, polygamy is really a response to eliminate those kind of problems of us raising children in a society that they do not understand how to be a family. Now, but people have made this about sex, and I guess that's really my point. Now, so I just make that point. So when you hear separation, what comes to your mind, and how do you see it? How do you see that working out? How do you see it happening, or whatever?
Separation, I see it as survival. Survival, meaning, and this may not be a concept everybody's familiar with, but you have to think of your community or whatever collective we call ourselves a part of, as one, like you're one person.
Right.
So if you can't survive on your own, if you don't have the tools and you don't have the skills to know how to survive as one, then you're not surviving. I mean, that's just to come upon you.
Right.
Or you're not living in the sense of where you're dependent on somebody else. I wouldn't call that living. So as a collective, separation is by means of survival, so we can learn what it takes to survive. I mean, I feel like physically, I mean, we still are separate in certain communities.
What do you think, Julian?
Similar sentiment. I think it's the only way for us to reach our real potential is to kind of be self-sustaining as a as a collective of people. Not to say trade and stuff like that. That's a thing, but it has to be where we're getting self-sustained. Like we can kind of keep ourselves.
Ujama.
You know what I'm saying, without being like like children essentially.
Yeah. I guess
a dependent, I guess they call it in tax.
Right. See, my thing is that like as you mentioned, that we're already separate. I mean, that America is built around separation, and that the problem becomes, in our case, is that we are not productive. We're just consumers.
Yeah.
So therefore, it makes us kind of parasitic, because we are not trying to. In other words, okay, in the next 10 years, maybe we're not going to be able to maybe get everything. But again, what are we working on to keep our money circulating? I mean, at one time we had our own restaurants. Are we trying to make more restaurants now so we don't have to go to McDonald's or Burger King unless the black person owns them? What about shoe stores or clothing stores? I mean, in other words, are we working on these things or not? I mean, and so that's really what I'm worried about, because as you can see, that if they're laying off jobs in that economy, the American economy, then yet there's some groups who are prospering, some groups who are sustaining. I mean, maybe they're not raising hell, but they sustain it. But then here we are, like when the food stamp machine goes crazy, We ain't get no food stamp, and people thought let up. Yeah. So I'm just trying to say that, to me, it's a mental health problem that we are not breaking free from that. Yeah. Now I'm gonna push it a little bit more for you all, and my position is this: that first of all, you have the separation occurs in phases or stages. The first stage is like Muhammad used to say, take your mouth out of the other people's kitchen. I mean, grocery stores. I mean, why we? I mean, like, if we can run, and I said this also to somebody, if we can run government, we can run corporations, but we can't run a damn corner store. Yeah. I'm trying to say we can do this for. I mean, we could work. We rocket science. We doing this in this corporation. We big in Aflac and this that and we got, but we ain't got no corner store. No. I mean, we ain't got no cleaners. I'm just saying that to me. I mean, something. I mean, how bad do things have to be? Most other people, they are doing that. The Latinos, the East Indians, the other Asian groups, and they're doing that. What I'm trying to say, what is it? Now I know logically, and as far as psychosocial speaking, yeah. I'm saying, what do you all think? I mean, like, so my thing is that if that was the case, you all would have some type of meeting with other college students where you're discussing. I mean, now it's like this. Okay, there are people who come to America to work. They get the money, they send it back home, yeah. Right? For business, for their country. My thing is like this. If we work in whatever the business is, and this is where the other thing about it, the difference is with me, I grew up in separation. So therefore, we worked where people work, but we spent most of our money. On time we spent our money somewhere else. We didn't have it in our own neighborhoods. Yeah. So therefore, we spent my money, shoes, the popsicles, the ice cream cone, or bread, or whatever you need on a day-to-day basis, food, shelter, clothing. We did that. So my point is that why is that not a discussion? Because remember now, the college students, y'all gotta have those discussions because you are the intelligentsia, so therefore you're going to be the one to put in the structures and things of that sort for people, for the grassroots people, that type of thing. Yeah. So
that's one thing
as opposed, we spend more time talking about politics than we do about self-sufficiency.
Mm-hmm. And what I was thinking basically, you might have mentioned this previously, but because you said you grew up in separation, mm-hmm. So you kind of watched the whole transition basically. Right. What was the cause for us?
Well, but basically was this is that the sellout of our political elite were what you call the house people. So therefore, the politicians and others who saw it as being a status, being associated in the businesses of other people rather than our own communities. When we got some funds, as opposed to us rebuilding in our neighborhood and gentrifying our own neighborhood, instead we moved to Green Island Hills. We moved to other places away from the neighborhood, and the only thing left in the neighborhood at the time might be the church we grew up in, but everything around the neighborhood, because we left it. Now people are coming in, taking over our own neighborhood because we choose to live somewhere else. We follow. So therefore, that only left. See, they only left people who could not move in the neighborhoods. Yeah. See, when I came along, you had school teachers. I mean, people different economic staying in the same village. So saying what like these days now, it's like it's very simple. If you're a middle class, you're gonna stay in a middle class neighborhood. If you're lower class, you're gonna stay in a lower class neighborhood. If you're upper class, for as money is concerned, you stay in another. And so therefore, that's okay for people who, in control of the whole society because it's still one community for them. But for us, it divides us up. For example, if I had some trouble in school, I'd go to the school teacher and stay around the corner or down the street.
Right. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? For some help. I mean, so like, but like now, that's not the case. So that's what happened.
Money? You started putting money up before, you said status?
Greed and status. In other words, it became the thing about I stay in another kind of neighborhood now, as opposed there's no pride in staying in our own, because remember now, many of the older subdivisions were built because we built neighborhood. So we bought the land, built the houses, had our own credit unions, had our own banks. I know it was like that, but no, my point is that, but the sellouts were those, seems like that those people who were going outside the community to work in various capacities, right? And they were spending their money, for the name brands and this, that, and other to support other businesses, as opposed to reinvesting. See, the instruments of reinvestment in the community was lost then.
You know about what time frame? Was it like in the 6th, 7th?
Yeah, well, basically it took place. Okay. I grew up in the 50s. It was like that in the 50s. It was like that in the 60s, but then in the 70s, that's when desegregation took place of schools. I think Columbus was like 72. So therefore, that's when it started really spiraling out of control, so to speak. And so ever since then, that's when people started, of course, drugs came in, as people moved out, drugs came in, became the economy. And also another thing that happened was the jobs. Here in Columbus, the mills were a big part of the blue collar jobs. Yeah. When those closed down, right, then many times people were kind of stuck. Yeah. See, so therefore those jobs weren't there in the long run. Those people who then also people who were not native of Columbus started moving into Columbus, who had degrees or had other skills. So therefore, the people there who were native to Columbus, some of them, but by and large, many of them did not have any jobs. So therefore, at one time when we were growing up, we were going to Cleveland, Detroit, Chicago, New York, Philadelphia, Boston. But then people from Lumpkin and Albany started moving to Columbus. I mean, you know what I'm saying? And Columbus started going to Atlanta. In other words, and that kind of vibe. So that's kind of where we kind of lost the businesses and things like so, because, and then also somewhere along the line, people were going in business for the wrong reason. One time,
I was going to ask about the mindset.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. that people, it's just like, even like right now, when I go to a restaurant, many times we're serving, it's almost like they disrespectful. So I have to report them to the manager. I mean, whereby not understand that we fought to have them to be able to have that job. So they should be, treat everybody nice, but certainly treat us nice, but instead our own people, and that's why many of the young people, they getting now that people are getting automatic tellers. Well, you don't have to talk to nobody. That I know there's some burger places, they got a recording. Yeah. They say what you want, and you make your order, and then you got somebody cooking, because the public, the community relations of the people, and that goes back into the broken families though. See, because when the drug thing came in, fathers started being aloof, and mothers started being aloof, particularly with the crack epidemic. Yeah. So therefore, then those children grew up raising children. Their children were whack. I mean, and so then now those children raising children. Those children are the killers and the robbers and thieves. In other words, that's.
Now, I can't say I do know. At least I know around the '90s, gangster rap came in and kind of finished the job, man.
And that was trying to gangster rap.
That's about
started glorifying. And again, I mean, you lived in East Highland or Bellwood. Yeah. You can go back and kind of see what started happening in those areas when there was just kind of extended family, neighborhoods. But then you can go just kind of look at that. Yeah. And
I can see that. I can still see kind of the gangsterism kind of thing. I can see that in there.
Right. And so that
was on the later end.
Right. That he got sophisticated then. you know, because everybody kind of who could get out, kind of moved out, and you know, like that. So that's kind of how it went there. So I guess the issue becomes to a great extent that we do need to think about, you know, and that's what, of course, that what we're about with New Era and with Project Rebound is that we got to build our own institutions. So I was just talking today about Staple Good program from the farm. I mean, and therefore we're gonna have some Staple Good things here. So you know, we got water. In other words, we got to start. You know, and maybe one day we'll be able to move this out of here, get a spot to do that. I mean, in other words, we're just incubating a little business here now. Come here and get you some bean pies, or come here and get you. In other words, like that. I mean, yeah, just like the candy lady used to. I mean, we got to get back to basics, so to speak. You know, and then of course the lack of trust. I mean, these days, back in the day, I mean, you don't want certain people in your house, so therefore, you know, because you can't trust people. I mean, you know, so the issue of trust, because we became so diabolical. You know, that kind of thing. Yeah, so that's kind of what happened. But again, my thing is that that's why my belief is that whether you like it or not, the Nation of Islam is the only model, and it's the only organization. And that's one thing I heard the minister mention in one of his talk. There's never been the only major black organization that has actually fallen or been torn down and rebuilt even as well as it was, or a little bit better, is the Nation of Islam across the board. See, that's the only organization in our community that many organizations that don't exist no more back in from the 60s and 70s, or even the Black Panthers or whatever. I mean, you know, my point is that you know, that the nation is, and so therefore, you know, people can say what I mean. Like, so some people see. My thing is this: if that's the only boat flowing, then until there's another boat better, I mean, I might well ride that boat. I mean, so that's. I mean, that's only right now. You know, that's only people that growing food. I don't know no other black institutions growing food for our community. That even this might seem like small, but even having a national newspaper capacity. What other organization has a national newspaper capability? You know, so my point is that food, shelter, and clothing, and we used to have and we do now. We need to start getting back in those things. Music wise, entertainment, we need to control our own. And just like with this right here, my thing is that I believe that we need to bring our music back to CDs, and I think we've had this discussion because we lose. I mean, I'm on all platforms. I mean, like, okay, so how you get? Okay, nobody can buy your CD, so how you getting paid? Oh, they can do what they put a program in there whereby every time you get $1,000, you get 200. I mean, you don't know that. I mean, you know, but you selling those CDs, you know. So my point is that some things we can it's not advanced, but we can modernize ourselves out of business, and that's what I'm trying to say. We're dependent too much because when this goes down. So to tell that right now, they're changing things in the museums and things. Somebody y'all ain't heard about.
I heard about the Smithsonian.
Yeah, I'm trying to say, but not. I mean, that's the move all over everywhere. You know, and to take them out things out of school. But my point is this: whatever's on this right here, you pull the plug. If you can't get on your computer, well, like I said, I'm good.
Right.
I put out a book. I'm good.
Yeah.
During the pandemic, if I can't get no electricity, I'm good.
I mean, information. Yeah.
I got books. I mean, I'll say myself. I got books for another life. We reading all the. You know, but so my point is, we got to get. That's why we do publishing. Everything that we do here, at the end of the day, it's about us retaining our self-sufficiency. See, and that's one thing about it is that That's another thing. One of the things that always happen when countries want to create a certain type of dictatorship, they have what they call book burnings. Did y'all educated me? Y'all in school? They have book burnings. Okay. My point is that's why every home has. Why do you think historically every home had their own home library? When you had a house, they had a library. As a particularly the affluent people had a library. Every home has a library. Today we got to promote to our people to start building libraries for their children. Education, they're not teaching our children. So whatever they get there, but you better give them the real education from books. You need to have everybody got to be a homeschool person. You got to, you cannot afford, in other words, school is not going to educate your, school is going to train your child to work into that system, but to start your own business, we better have our own books. And another thing about it is that we got to get a better character because we're too greedy, we're too selfish, okay? And that's why in Nguzo Saba, the 7 Principles of Kwanzaa, I saw you read my book earlier. Okay, where's it at? Okay, what did you read?
Practicing Kwanzaa year round.
Okay, but what did you read? Tell me what I mean. Don't go back now. When what do you remember for what you were reading?
The Umoja and the different principles. I was particularly looking at the symbols, as I was seeing those symbols in other places. Can't remember the name of the symbol, but
again, remember the symbols represent an idea,
right?
So therefore, that even if you don't get the symbol, get the idea,
right?
So don't get it the other way, right? Okay, yeah. Don't worry. The symbol will be fine. You make sure you get the idea, the thought. Yeah, that part. Okay. I guess we a little over time here. After time, we're going to get better with our time. We appreciate y'all being with us, and of course share. I think that maybe there might be some value to somebody that we discussed. I think we had a good discussion. In the last word, Nate.
Keep learning, because if you just take in what they give you, you're not being yourself. So learn something that you perceive as valuable.
Okay. Or that you actually learn to be valuable, because if everybody do that, they don't know. So they think a blunt is valuable. Yeah. So you gotta kind of put it in the context here. What about you, Julian?
Organize.
You already know that. Now I'm gonna put a challenge. And next week, if good Lord willing, we able to get this thing consistent here. That's one thing we got to tighten it up. But I want to say this. My position is this: that we would not be able to build and resurrect our tribes, our communities. That the first thing we need to do is give up our slave names. And until we give up our slave name, it's like Sodom and Gomorrah. We still carrying that thought, and you're still a slave because you're taking the slave master's name. So as long as we have a slave master, we can do a lot of things, but we're never going to be able to break that emotional and psychological connection as long as we still live in the name of somebody else's reality. Mm-hmm. So we'll talk about that next time. As to get y'all thoughts about that, and you got somebody want to call in, let them know. We're talking about you can't really. My thing is that you can't really be a man or a woman unless you have taken on a holy name. Right. I mean, you can't be a people. Going back to what you're talking about. How can you be a people in somebody else's name? Because you're cutting off your own root.
Right.
So we're hustling backwards. Yep. So I just put that out to everybody. You will be a slave until you give up them slave names. You cannot be free carrying a slave name. It's just that simple. You got to come in the name of the higher power. You got to come in the name of God. Something that reflects that in your heritage, your legacy, your roots. Okay? So thank you for being with us tonight. And good Lord willing, the creek don't rise. And look forward to talking with you in the days ahead, and join in and learn how to become a real man and a real woman. Start faking and start romanticizing the streets. So, love with a little sprinkle of power. Good night.